The moment you hear what happened inside the billionaire's mansion, you won't believe it actually started with a scream so loud that it sent the 15th maid running out in tears. And if you're watching this right now, get ready, because by the end, you'll understand why this story changed so many lives. And before we go deeper, make sure to like the video and subscribe, because stories like this deserve to be heard, and someone out there needs this message today. Everyone in town knew the Davenport kids: Ariana, age 10, brilliant but cold; twins Mason and Miles, age 6, chaotic as a thunderstorm, and all three armed with a reputation that traveled faster than their father's wealth. Their mother had passed away 2 years earlier, and since then, every maid hired lasted no more than 12 hours, some didn't even make it through breakfast. They were known as the devil trio behind the mansion gates. But nobody knew the truth: the children weren't cruel. They were broken, and the one person who should have helped them, billionaire Thomas Davenport, was drowning himself in work, guilt, and silence. Miles broke the last maid's glasses by accident. Mason dumped cereal on her head. And Ariana, using the sharp brain her mother once celebrated, told the maid, "You'll leave like the rest." Everyone does. Those words hit harder than anything else, and the poor woman hurried out. Thomas watched her leave with his hands on his forehead. Not again. Not another one. He didn't know what else to do. That same afternoon, across town, a single dad named Luke Peterson was fixing a broken toy robot for his daughter, Lily, while she sat on his lap humming. Luke was a retired Army veteran, a gentle man with tired eyes. Life hadn't been easy. He worked multiple part-time jobs, did repairs for neighbors, and did everything alone since Lily's mother had left when Lily was 3. But despite the struggles, there was warmth in their tiny apartment that no mansion could match, a warmth made of laughter, bedtime stories, and love that healed everything. But bills didn't care about love. When the landlord raised the rent again, Luke realized he had only 2 weeks before he and Lily might lose their place. That night, after Lily fell asleep, he searched for jobs desperate enough to take anyone. His heart paused when he saw the listing: live-in caretaker needed. Experience preferred. Patience required. High pay. He almost ignored it. Mansion families didn't hire men like him. But Lily needed stability. So he applied. The next morning, he stood at the Davenport mansion gates with Lily holding his hand. She wore her little yellow dress and mismatched socks. She always mismatched them on purpose. "Lucky socks," she whispered. Luke smiled and rubbed her hair. "Let's hope they're very lucky today." Inside, the butlers whispered as Luke waited. "Another one. Poor man. 12 hours. He won't last 12 minutes. Thomas Davenport finally walked in, tall, sharp-suited, eyes exhausted. He looked Luke up and down. "You're a veteran." Luke nodded. "And a single parent." Luke nodded again. Thomas inhaled deeply, almost like he doubted Luke would survive the day. "You should know," Thomas said quietly, "my children are difficult." Luke simply smiled. "Sir, kids aren't difficult. They're hurting." Thomas didn't respond. He just led him down the hallway. Then came the scream. Mason and Miles were throwing pillows, Ariana was shouting instructions like a battlefield commander, and the room was a disaster zone of crayons, torn papers, and toppled chairs. Luke just blinked. Lily whispered, "Daddy, I think we entered a cartoon." Ariana pointed at him. "You'll quit. All of you do. You look too calm. That means you'll cry later." Luke crouched down to her height. "Do you want me to quit?" His voice was steady, not angry, not afraid. Ariana frowned, confused. No one had ever asked her that. "It doesn't matter what I want," she muttered, turning away. Luke noticed something. Her hands were trembling. Instead of reacting to the chaos, he acted like he was analyzing a complex mission. "All right," he said. "House rule number 1. Everyone get in formation." He clapped his hands. The twins froze. Ariana narrowed her eyes. "What formation?" Mason asked. Luke smirked. "Operation Tickle Shield." Before they could ask, he lifted both twins like they were feather light, spun once, and pretended to shield Ariana with them. The twins erupted into laughter, the loud, uncontrollable kind. Ariana was stunned. Nobody had ever come close enough to touch her brothers, let alone make them laugh, while they were misbehaving. Ariana tried to hold her stoic expression. It lasted 3 seconds. Then she cracked, just a tiny smile. Luke noticed, but didn't comment. She wasn't ready for attention. Lily joined the twins in a pile of giggles, and Luke let them all collapse safely on the carpet. For the first time in months, the Davenport mansion heard laughter instead of anger. Over the next few days, something unusual happened. Luke didn't raise his voice. He didn't demand control. He didn't force rules. Instead, he taught the kids small routines, army style, but gentle. Making their beds became a mission. Eating vegetables was training. Cleaning toys was enemy capture. Ariana, the toughest one, watched him with suspicion. Her mother used to play games like that. Luke reminded her of someone she lost. One night, she finally snapped. "Why are you being nice? You'll leave too." "Everyone leaves." Her voice cracked, and Luke knelt beside her. "Ariana, pain makes people run. But I've stood in storms bigger than this family. I won't run from you." She looked up at him with teary eyes, then ran into her room and slammed the door. But her heart had already begun to soften. Thomas noticed the changes but didn't understand them. He had no idea how to talk to his own kids anymore. He watched from doorways as Luke bonded with them, teaching them how to fold clothes, how to draw, even how to deal with their loneliness. Thomas felt guilt stab his chest. He had been providing money, not presents. One evening, Thomas walked into the playroom and saw Luke teaching Ariana how to salute properly. She laughed, a full, bright laugh that Thomas hadn't heard since his wife died. He leaned against the wall, eyes glassy. Then he whispered, "Thank you." Luke just nodded. But every story has its storm. One afternoon, while Luke was outside fixing the kids' broken swing, a car pulled up. A woman stepped out, elegant, sharp, cold. Thomas's sister, Vivian. She despised Luke on sight. A single father. An ex-soldier. Living in my brother's home. She accused Thomas of being irresponsible. He doesn't belong here. And those kids need a professional, not a charity case. She fired Luke on the spot. When the kids found out, they cried. Ariana chased after him, sobbing, "You promised you wouldn't leave." Luke knelt, swallowing the lump in his throat. "Your aunt made the call, sweetheart. But listen to me, you are strong. And you can keep laughing. That power comes from you, not from me." He hugged them all, even Ariana, who clung to his shirt with shaking hands. Lily cried too, confused and heartbroken. Luke walked out with her, each step heavier than the last. That night, the mansion returned to silence. No giggles. No play missions. Just emptiness. Thomas confronted Vivian. "Do you know what you've done?" His voice shook with anger. "My children smiled again because of him." Vivian scoffed. "You're a Davenport. Act like one, Thomas." Thomas finally saw the truth. He had let pride and distance ruin his family long enough. He threw Vivian out of the house the next morning. Then he drove straight to Luke's apartment. When Luke opened the door, Thomas didn't waste a second. "Please come back," he said. "Not as a caretaker." Luke was confused. Thomas swallowed his pride. "As part of this family. My kids need you. And honestly, so do I." Luke looked at Lily, who nodded with her goofy mismatched socks. "We should go back, Daddy. They need us." Luke smiled softly. "Okay." When he returned to the mansion, the kids came running. Ariana reached him first and punched his arm. "You broke your promise." She sniffed. Then she hugged him so tight he couldn't breathe. The twins piled on. Lily squeezed in between. And for the first time, the Davenport family wasn't broken anymore. Weeks passed. Laughter became normal. Thomas took more time off work. Luke became more than a caretaker. He became a mentor, a father figure, a healer. The mansion wasn't a mansion anymore. It was a home. By the end of the story, remember this: sometimes the strongest warriors aren't the ones who fight battles on fields, they're the ones who show up in someone's life when everyone else has given up. And if this story touched your heart, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It helps us spread more stories that remind people that hope always finds a way back home.